G'day, Bill Horhepper. Welcome to episode 2 of Low Gear Revisited. In this episode, I'm going to take a look at the 2014 Northern Classic Commercials Long Lap Run from Wellington to Cape Reinga. This will give you an idea of their upcoming run in October. A contingent of classic trucks came up from the South Island. They came over on the Blue Bridge to join in the fun. Not the best of evenings to be arriving in Wellington, but the guys are all fired up and they're ready for their trip north. The Northern Classic Commercials Club would like to take this opportunity of thanking Strait Shipping for their sponsorship in assisting the South Island trucks come across the strait. So if you're thinking about crossing Cook Strait, then we recommend Strait Shipping as the way across. It's great to see some of the old trucks coming back for another run and some new trucks as well. I haven't seen that old Nissan before and it's come up from the far south. Also, here's a lovely old International, beautifully restored, and we'll be seeing more of this as the trip goes on. Once everybody's ashore, the group will head up to Vic Draper's yard north of Wellington, and then the next day they'll head up past Kapiti Island and head towards Levin. This is the truck we saw just come off the ferry, and it's actually an International Fleet Star. And then we have an International Pay Star, followed by a Mac. Then they've all arrived at Levin. At Levin there's actually quite a strong contingent of classic truck people, and you can see the Atkinson and the Bedford, the Mac, and that little old truck is actually called a Maxwell. Well, everybody here is getting ready to go over to the morning tea, where the lower North Island and the South Island trucks will meet up and organise themselves. Trucks of all sorts of shapes and sizes are arriving. That's a T International with an old K on the back of it, and a Kenworth, and just coming up in the background there is an old Ford. And here's the field where all the little trucks are gathering. Some are parked in the field, some are parked on the road, but everybody's going to enjoy a morning tea and have a look at everybody else's truck. That's John Martangi, and he's got his old truck on the back of his ERF, and he's going to be taking that whole rig up to the far north, and good on him. And here's the trip organiser, Ray Reid, and he's just parking up his great big Kenworth. Well, we're on our way north to Cambridge for the night. Vic Draper is one of the run's organisers, and he drives this beautifully restored Leyland Hippo. Like previous runs, Vic likes to fly the old Union Jack, I guess as a tribute to trucks built in the UK. This C-17 International Ute, called the Phantom, takes us back to 1969 with Greg Keane and Phil Burrell making their way north. To cater for the unexpected breakdown, a transporter needs to accompany the run, and Vic Draper has brought his one along. Also, you'll note a few trucks on the back of other trucks, and that's for two reasons. One to display when we get to the various stops, and the other reason is to add a bit of weight for a smoother ride. Going across the desert road is always nice with the mountains in the background. This is a 1966 Atkinson with Ian Buckley and Clive Shanks aboard, and it's not wasting any time at all making its way to Cambridge. Clinton Buller's RB Mac is one of the unusual trucks on the run with its Kiwi-made grille and bonnet area, which makes it just a little bit longer in comparison to this blue Mac, which has the conventional American bonnet. Peter Duthie has renovated his 1967 bonnet at Austin, and he's decided to bring it on the run. Peter's already brought it all the way from the bottom of the South Island, so he's come a fair way already. As we pass through Reinga, there's a group of fishermen enjoying themselves, and that of course leads us on to Lake Taupo. According to the program, everybody's supposed to be having lunch at Taupo, and I'm sure some of them did. But because we spent so much time in Levin, some had decided to go straight on to Cambridge. So we travel through this lovely forest area before you get to Tokoroa, and on for a well-earned rest at Cambridge. After a good and hearty breakfast hosted by the Ross brothers of C&R Developments in Cambridge, The group begin its next part of their adventure, which takes them up through Auckland and onto the Kauri Museum at Matakohi, and then on to the final destination for the day, Dargaville. With most of the trucks arriving at Cambridge, this is a good opportunity to actually get a look at most of them as they leave for Auckland. Mack, International and Kenworth are well represented, and there's a few Japanese trucks as well, with John King in the Nissan with his wife Helen, and they too have come up all the way from the South Island. The man in the Leyland there is called Polly, and he too has come up from the South Island. There's another Kenworth. And here comes Barry Caulfield's 1974 Kenworth with its stunning artwork, paint job, and especially that old Indian on the bonnet. Next is the RB Mack that we spoke about before, followed by the Atkinson we saw coming across the desert road. And the old Austin, followed by a Paystar, and that too's come up from the bottom of the South Island. And there's Ray Reid, and he's the troop leader, Graham Scow, Alf Williamson and the old Scammell, the old Comma from Ragland, followed by Mick Whiteside driving his very unusual Leyland Beaver. At the northern end of the Auckland Northern Motorway are the tunnels, and they were finished in 2009 and a toll needs to be paid to go through them. It shaves about 10 minutes off what it used to take going around the coast road. Here comes Tom Kiernan in his old blue-white, and on the back it says a Jimmy in a white. And it's only a short tunnel, only takes about not even a minute to go through, followed by an LAD cab Leyland. We're not far from the small town of Matakohi, where the group will stop for lunch and meet some of the locals who have turned out with their own cars and trucks to show off as well. We saw Tom Kiernan's white just before it went into the tunnels, and this is another one restored by Lance Peach, and he's done an outstanding job with this one with its sleeper box and twin stacks. It looks absolutely great. And some of the other trucks following along behind, all heading to the museum to have a big park up and meet the locals. Jenner's Worldwide Freight. They provide simplified, custom-built solutions to your supply chain needs. Their 37 years of experience and their team of experts find the answers to your freight challenges. They work hard to understand what matters most to you and your clients. Check them out at www.jenners.co.nz. That's www.jenners.co.nz. Today we're heading up to Kaitaia, up through the winding hills up there, and past Opononi, Opo the dolphin, past the Kauri tree, Kaikoui. Got little activities they can do along the way, but what a great collection of New Zealand history. Amazing. Well, this is day 3 of the Northern Run, and the water on the ground reflects what the weather's been doing along the way. But on the whole, everybody's really enjoying the trip, and the camaraderie amongst the group is fantastic. Let's listen to what Don Julian's got to say.
Don, what are you thinking about? How's it going so far?
Oh, I think that it's good, but I'm a bit worried about the weather. Yeah, they tell me it's going to be good. Not that it'll be good for the north, but it is good. Yeah.
As part of the event, lunches are supplied to eat along the way, and everybody queues up to get theirs. Neil and Carol Shaler and their son Cameron are in charge of dishing it all out, and it's all packed onto the back of the ERF that Carol drives. And we'll see Carol doing just that in just a minute.
Do you want a hand? Thank you. Do you want another hand? Is it easier to bring the box down?
Not far up the road from Dargaville is a place called Trunston Kauri Park, which is a park full of kauri trees run by Doc, and some of the group found their way to this magnificent place and enjoyed a guided tour by the dock staff. Even the parking of the trucks wasn't too bad, considering it's a country road. This is Carol Shaler, and her and her husband Neil are in charge of organising the northern part of the Northern Classic Run. And a lot of the guys that came on the run are like Don Julian. They've got a little shed mounted onto the back of their truck, and of course makes accommodation and stopping for a cup of tea an easy thing. Carol's actually a truck driver in her own right, and she works with husband Neil in the normal week. And it's great to be able to join Carol as she drives this old ERF to the next phase of the journey, which is to look at a big kauri tree called Tani Mahuta, which is on the road between Dargaville and Opunoni. Just a bit about the old ERF. ERF actually stands for Edwin Richard Foden, and he was part of the Foden group in the early part of the 20th century. And he had a great influence in the lorry business in England. In fact, he introduced the first pneumatic tyres. But in the 1930s, Edwin believed that the future of lorries lay in diesel power, but the Foden board, of which he was a part, didn't agree. So he resigned along with his son Dennis. And with a few friends, they started the ERF companies, concentrating on using the Gardner diesel engine as a power unit for their ERF trucks. So what happened to ERF in recent years? Well, in 2000 it became part of MAN. And finally in 2007 MAN stopped badging the ERF brand, and so I guess that was the end of the line for ERF. But it certainly had a wonderful history, and there's a lot of people who enjoy them. In the middle of this kauri forest north of Dargaville is a tree called Tani Mahuta, and there isn't a great deal of room to be parking trucks there, and I'm actually amazed at the number of trucks they did manage to park. Everybody's gone in to look at the old tree, and as I said, it's over 1,000 years old, and it's certainly part of our New Zealand history. Now it's about an hour and a quarter to Kaitaia. And this coming November, we're doing our annual Low Gear Tour of New Zealand. This is where we take a bus tour of the many public and private collections from Whangarei to Invercargill over a 2-week period. Some have described it as a great holiday and a wonderful trip down memory lane. See the country, meet the locals and have some fun. Not only will you get to see the trucks and machines, some collectors will even let you drive them. So to find out how to book your place, or as a family you might like to book your special person onto the trip, just go to our webpage at www.lowgear.co.nz or email me at billhoheper@extra, or perhaps just give me a call 027 277 0717. I look forward to having you on board. At the end of the previous run 2 years earlier, it was agreed that this northern run should go all the way up to Cape Reinga. Well, the boys and girls have reached Kaitaia, and the next leg of this trucking adventure is in fact Cape Reinga. So let's join the team as they prepare for the northernmost leg.
That's what you do for mates.
He's been looking at that all the way from Wellington, and it must bug him because he can never get past it.
So we're starting to dull off, so I had to try and freshen it up a bit. Hard on the eyes. And you got a dirty back window.
Oh, don't look at that.
What do you reckon, mate?
It's always the Mac in the mirror.
Yeah. Right. You get me bum doing now.
Yeah, well, fine bum it is too.
Oh, jeez,
You're a
that's
very
it.
kind girl.
Good on you guys, nothing like a mate helping a mate. Well, they've organised a couple of buses so all the trucks don't have to go up to Cape Reinga because the parking up there is a bit of a premium. But anyway, some guys are taking their trucks, but the majority are going on these buses. And the first stop is a little Kauri museum not far out of Awanui. So that's where everybody's going to turn up. There's a little bit of refreshments there. And so if you missed out on breakfast, you'll be able to catch a little something there. But the bus that just went by is one of the ones that goes along the 90 Mile Beach. And these buses will actually be coming back along 90 Mile Beach on their way back to Kaitaia. On Monday the 15th of October, the Northern Classic Commercials Club will start their long lap from Wellington to New Plymouth. That evening, the classic trucks will be parked up at Central Hill near New Plymouth. On the days following, they'll go to Taramanui, Cambridge, Rotorua and on to Whakatane. They'll all be parked up at Awatiri on Saturday the 20th, when Barry Caulfield will be auctioning off some of his amazing truck collections. To find out the full details of this, just go to my webpage at www.lowgear.co.nz and I'll see you there. And there's Cape Reinga Lighthouse, looking absolutely stunning on a lovely day. And all the chefs have decided that they're going to go onto this little walkway and get some unique photographs with the cape in the background. And there you go, something completely different. And there's old Mick Whiteside heading back. But look at this glorious view, absolutely stunning. Vic Draper got some very interesting photographs of his Leyland hippo, and I'm sure they'll be looking at those for a long time to come. Hi everyone, my new book, Talking Trucks, is now available. I'll just read you what Alex McClellan of McClellan Freight in Balclutha had to say in the foreword. This book is the result of many miles travelled, many people met, and many vehicles and machines documented. As people pass on, their stories go with them. So it was great that Bill and Linda could document their stories, not only for their historic value to New Zealand, but also to the families of the people who took the time to pass it on through Bill's shows. I think this book goes some way to honouring that responsibility. Thank you, Alex. I also spoke to Gavin Abbott, and Gavin, as you know, is an author himself, written something like 6 or 7 or 8 trucking books, and he said, well, Bill, as you know, I've read a few trucking books in my time, but I have to tell you that this book is up there with the best of them. So there you go. If you'd like to get your copy, the easiest way is to go to our webpage at www.lowgear.co.nz or flick me an email, billhohepa@extra.co.nz, or perhaps even just give me a call, 027 277 0717, and we can sort out the details. So there you go. Talking Trucks, now available, and maybe you get your copy for a gift for Father's Day. You've got a very special truck, and I've seen a lot of Macs in our travels, but I've never seen one with a bonnet like this. Perhaps you could just talk us through the bonnet.
It was a truck that was developed by Motor Trucks in Palmerston. One of the clients wanted a better turning circles, so they set the front axle back.
Oh, okay.
And consequently they designed the bonnet, and they were built no techie and with the sloping front on them. And there was only approximately 50 of them ever built.
5.0?
5.0
Wow.
ever built, and yeah.
So when you're talking about a sloping, is this little slope?
No, this is a bit on here.
Oh, on here,
Because
okay.
the normal R model, the front axle's 14
yeah.
inches further forward.
Oh, okay, so that means it turns.
Yeah, it's got a better turning circle, and yeah.
And they did that for logs? I see
No,
it's got a
they.
red
Not too sure what the client was. I think it was a dairy company.
Oh, okay.
They got them built,
And what's the engines in it? Just
a 400 4-valve Mac motor.
Oh, okay. Is there anything in the cab that's different?
No, it's just a basic R model, and
okay.
these got the Superliner cabs on them for the where the bonnets sit here. But that's the only difference.
Oh, okay. I know on those Superliners you got a sort of more, like a tennis court sitting out in front of you. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Oh well, as I said, I haven't seen one like this before. So, and how many would still be alive of the 50?
I don't know. I asked the boys at Motor Trucks, but they didn't know.
No.
They said it was, we see a few around from time to time, but not many.
No. Good on you, Clint. That was interesting. Now we're going to just pop along the road to Bert Watchorn's place. Next up, they went to the famous museum that belongs to Bert Watchorn. We spoke to Bert about his international.
Bert, how long since you've had her outside?
Oh, it hadn't been on the road for probably 10 years, I suppose. But it had just about almost passed through a COF straight through.
It's a special moment then?
Yeah. Some people want to know if I want to sell it, but that's probably one I'll probably be dead before that's sold.
Yes.
It's unique. It's not everybody got one of those.
And what's unique about it?
Well, it's unique in this country. I think there may be another one, but it's a tilt cab one, you see. And it's a 190 International. It's a left-hand drive that came in that way into New Plymouth as a oil survey truck. And you have to have a special permit to use it, of course. But it goes well, and it's very comfortable, very nice to drive. I saw an ad in the Herald with a classic truck, international classic truck for sale. And I'd seen one of these, the sister ship to this one, when it was brand new in Waitra, when I was down there once. It was blue and all that. And the winch still had the canvas round it, that's how new it was. And I took a photo of that in about 1960 or thereabout. I thought that's the most magnificent truck I'd ever seen, because I used to like international. And then when I saw this one for sale, I didn't believe what I was reading. I just had phoned Bev after 5 o'clock. So I did that. I said, "You've got an international truck for sale here?" I said, has it been in Taranaki most of its life? Yeah.
Unfortunately, Bob Alice's R190s drowned out the sound. So, just to finish Bert's conversation, it was the truck he was looking for, and so he bought it, and there it is. So he's very proud of it. His pride and joy. But the good thing is, we've got Bert to talk about his pride and joy. On Monday the 15th of October, the Northern Classic Commercials Club will start their long lap from Wellington to New Plymouth. That evening, the classic trucks will be parked up at Central Hill near New Plymouth. On the days following, they'll go to Taramanui, Cambridge, Rotorua and on to Whakatane. They'll all be parked up at Awatiri on Saturday the 20th, when Barry Caulfield will be auctioning off some of his amazing truck collections. To find out the full details of this, just go to my webpage at www.lowgear.co.nz and I'll see you there. If you'd like to get your copy, the easiest way is to go to our webpage at www.lowgear.co.nz or flick me an email, billhohepa@extra.co.nz, or perhaps even just give me a call, 027 277 0717, and we can sort out the details. So there you go, Talking Trucks, now available, and maybe you get your copy for a gift for Father's Day.